Well, hello, everybody.
There we go. Well, good afternoon, good evening, or we like to say good after morning from Mexico. It's Flexico time, and we're experiencing it right now, running a little late. I want to welcome all of our viewers across Canada and the United States to our Wham.live show tonight for Things That Matter. My name is Carl Krebs. I'm the host. My co-host in the studio back in Winnipeg is Todd McDougall, and we've had a few glitches getting going here. But we're here right now, and I'm excited about this show tonight. We are live from Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And in planning my trip here, I did not know it was a fortuitous moment that Lifewave, the company, would be in Mexico at the same time. And I have the honor of introducing and interviewing two of the senior presidential directors of the company, Mr. Kai Jacobson and Mr. Gregory Master. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hey, thanks so much, Carl. Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Guys, I want to start with you, Kai. Lifewave products are creating a lot of controversy, a lot of talk in the market about stem cell technology. Talk to us about the history of the company and the origin of the product. Just kind of give us a 30,000-foot view of what Lifewave has been doing for the last 18 years.
Well, for 18 years, Lifewave has been a scientific research company, and we have an amazing inventor who's the owner and the CEO of the company. He's a certifiable genius, David Schmidt, and he invented this new technology, and it's a very simple technology. It's kind of based on by something called photobiomodulation. It's basically when you go out in the sunlight, your body makes vitamin D. And that simple process, he found a way to stimulate sensors in the body, receptors in the body, basically, by these simple patches. Let me see if we can get one here. This is one of our packets, and these are the simple patches. They're just these little patches, and you stick them on your body, and the heat of your body warms up the patches, the nanocrystals in them, and sends a signal into your body to produce more copper peptide, which is the actual switch in your body to activate your stem cells. And it's amazing.
Now, before we get into a lot of the background of the product, it's important to know that Lifewave is very careful in its claims. And the Lifewave products are not intended to cure, diagnose any illness or disease. We want to make sure that that's clear on the market. That Lifewave, the product, is about regeneration. Gregory, talk to us about regeneration. Sounds like something like the Holy Grail.
Well, you know, the beauty of this patch, this is like the crowning rose. The company's been around, as you say, for 18 years. 3 years ago, we launched the X39 stem cell activation patch, and it changed the whole game because, you know, I didn't know much about stem cells, but now I do. And you know, the older we get, the less we have, the faster we age, and the slower we heal. And neither of those things sound very cool to me, okay? So I want to heal quickly and age slowly.
Right.
And these patches are actually clinically proven. You know, we've got over 80 clinical studies proving the efficacy of the technology. Many on this are crowning rose or flagship product, proving it's actually turning back their biological clock. We got people now been on these products for 3 years that are literally scientifically and biologically growing younger.
Well, I'm going to address that because I encountered you two gentlemen in Florida, and it was Kai's invitation that got me down there. And I was amazed to see the evidence, the fact that we could put up pictures of people that were taken at day 1, at 3 months, at 6 months, and the evidence is irrefutable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I liked about the product, what really drew me and draws people to the product is the measurable results.
Exactly.
And that manifests itself in many different ways because stem cells are a multi-billion-dollar business. Can we say that?
Hundreds of billions of dollars a year is being invested globally into stem cell research and stem cell technology and therapy.
And people have been chasing this guy for years, trying to figure out what's the key to unlock the youth in all of us. What's the key to turn back our biological clocks? What's the key to unleashing the body's natural ability? And I know David Schmidt talks a lot about this, and it so impressed me when I saw the presentations that were done in Orlando, Florida. Talk to us about that because you've been in the product in the Lifewave company for a long time.
Well, it's a very simple process. Basically, our body, as cells die and get damaged, they get replaced by stem cells. Stem cells have the ability to morph into any kind of cell. They can become any of your organs, your skin, your eyes, your hair. They can totally morph into any cell. And so that they have that ability. And as you activate your stem cells, that process of replacing the dead and dying and damaged cells happens at a much quicker rate.
And as we touched on just a moment ago, people are looking for those results. I mean, there are people who do experience an immediate result from the moment a patch is placed on. That is something that really, it brings tears to the eyes. I saw a video that David Schmidt did of a woman who had been suffering from something for a long time, whatever it was, and placing that patch literally brought her to tears. We've had some of that in our own group. Some people that I've known, they have been to the doctors, and the doctors have given them no hope. Talk to us about that again. How do the stem cells really regenerate? How do they do it? Because sometimes you're not experiencing it, and it takes a while.
Well, you know, they do so many things, as Kai was saying, but, you know, they get into the core of the aging issue and how turn back the clock. So we're healing faster. It helps to reduce inflammation and pain. One of the most common things we hear from people when they try the X39, they might be in pain, whether it's localized or generalized, is like, oh my gosh. You know, we like to say on a 1 to 10 scale, what's your pain right now? We place the patch on them, wait 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes, and people are going, oh my God, I can turn my neck. You know, many times we have people with frozen shoulders, you know, 2-3 days later going, oh my God, I can raise my arm above my head. You know, the results. And one of the things we like to encourage people to do when they start on the product is some people feel it very fast. Some people feel it slow. You know, some people have quick results, some people. But one thing I can guarantee for everyone that tries the product, the moment you put it on, wonderful things are beginning to start happening at a cellular level, which are cumulative. The longer you stay on the product, the better the results. We have scientific clinical studies proving that. But we like to suggest to people, when you get on the product, if you have some wrinkles, maybe some scars, take some pictures. Because fine lines and wrinkles start melting away, skin starts getting more collagen and, puffing up. And one of the miraculous things is old scar tissue on the surface and within starts being melted away and replaced with new stem cells. This is Nobel Prize level research. I really believe, we're talking about, a holy grail of anti-aging, from my opinion.
Yeah, I like when you say advanced medical technology, the cutting edge. This is something that's not readily available anywhere on the market, is it, Doug?
No, it's patented, and Lifewave is the only company that you can get these products from. And we have this really neat piece of literature that we usually get to everybody who tries the product. It's on one of our flyers that we have, and it's something you can calibrate and measure what's going on. It's a tracker, or health tracker, and it has a lot of things you don't think about, like, do my gums bleed? Like, how strong do I feel? Am I sleeping well? All these different things that are on the tracker, and you kind of measure on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at. And you do that for your first few days usually, and then weekly, and then over a period of 3 months, 2 to 3 months, you're going to see huge changes from your way of calibrating what's going on in your body that you may not have noticed. I know so many people said, I didn't even think of that. Like my hair was falling down. Right. And my hair
thickness of hair.
Yeah, like I have for my partner, I do a lot of the vacuuming in the house, and we vacuum, and you have to cut the hair out of the vacuum spinner. And it would be like, my partner has very long black hair and lots of hair. And it was just filling up the vacuum all the time. And she started using the X39, and after 3 or 4 months, it was almost no hair.
So now you have to vacuum a lot less.
Yeah, your little robotic Zoom is not working as fast as hard. I think it's important because, as you mentioned, you track the results and measure it from day one. And I know we have a wonderful little sheet that we try to get out. Some people don't do that and then look back. But when they do look back, they see, hey, I think it's like when you go to a gym.
Yeah.
You join a gym membership. What is your initial weight? What is your body fat mass?
Yeah.
What are all those things about you? And then you measure them later. You say, hey, I've actually lost some weight. My body fat is down. And this is the same way. We measure those results. But what's interesting, as you talk about the regeneration, even scars have been known to disappear. This is unheard of. And that's the exciting part about Lifewave. So in the product and in the company, the people that are involved, we have a wide cross-section of people that are distributing, that are selling, that are recommending. Talk to us about some of those people.
Well, to me, the proof is we have a groundswell of health practitioners joining and using Lifewave in their practice, because they're getting better clinical results with their patients. Their patients are getting better results with their practitioner. The referrals go up, and everybody's happy. The doctors are making more money, getting more patients, and the patients are getting results that the doctors many times, and health practitioners, all types of acupuncturists, NDs, DCs, MDs, they all love it. And they're getting results with some of the most difficult patients they couldn't get before.
We've all seen the ads on TV as drugs are advertised, more so in America than in Canada. We don't have the same kind of proliferation of drug ads on it. But at the end of it, it's like watching a used car commercial where they have all the disclaimers about the financing and it just rattle them off so fast. The side effects of other products on the market to help us better our health are known and published. To my understanding, I have read nowhere that there are any side effects.
Well, there are a couple of things to consider. If somebody's had organ transplants and they're on anti-rejection drugs,
yes.
Because our product really amplifies your immune system. Your immune system goes up. It's a little contradictory with people that have had organ transplants. So we recommend definitely don't use the patches in that case, or at least the X39 patch. And also, one of the things I've seen, because I've been doing this for 17 years and working with the product, is some people get a cleanse. It's because our product also activates glutathione.
Talk to us about that, because that's important.
About 40% increase in glutathione from the X39. And we even have a glutathione patch that can increase it by 200 to 300% in the blood.
Say that again. You're talking about raising glutathione by 200 to 300% within 24 hours.
24 hours. And some people who are very sensitive or have a lot of toxicity he had a very strong reaction from that, these two patches. But the good news is that it's cleansing their body of things. So we just tell them to wear it for an hour a day instead of the normal 12 hours. And then the next day wear it for 2 hours, and the next day for 3 hours, and it almost works perfectly.
But that's really
that's about the only negative thing.
Right, negative, but still positive, because the body is working, and some people have a really dramatic reaction to it, and their body is telling them, this is what I'm doing, I'm detoxifying. And I know the glutathione is making a lot of news right now, as people are trying to reverse, and detoxify their bodies. And we have a product, those numbers, that I think is unprecedented in the market.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, I was with the company quite a few years ago when they launched the glutathione patch, and that's another patch. We have 10 patches, and the glutathione patch was amazing. Like, when they did the clinical studies at the lab that did it, there are only 2 labs in the United States that test glutathione, and they couldn't believe, by putting this little sticker in the body, their results, their own testing. You have to get the blood within 12 hours of the lab, and it has to be delivered on dry ice, because it's such a, it's a perishable, the glutathione. So they had to test it under very specific conditions, in a laboratory condition, basically. And the results were so good that the lab said that's not possible. We test injections of glutathione, and you're getting better results than the injections and the reads that we get in the blood. So we're going to recalibrate all our equipment, and we're going to have tests all over the subjects all over again. And we did that all over again, the testing. We did a second round of it, same results. And the guy who on the lab said, I've never seen anything like that.
Astonishing.
That we have so much high levels of glutathione.
But again, when I encountered the product and I met you guys and I met David Schmidt and listened to the presentation, so much of the presentation was about the science behind the product. So much of it was about the natural light therapies and light frequencies that we've known about for literally thousands of years. Right. So the origin of the Lifewave product and its creator and David Schmidt, let's just briefly touch on that, because it goes back quite a few years.
It does. It goes back to 2004 when David was hired, actually the year 2000, he was hired by the U.S. government to develop a methodology for Navy SEALs to extend their stamina and their ability to stay awake in their little mini subs and the work that they do without using drugs, stimulants, or caffeine. And David developed this phototherapy product that, when placed on their bodies, enabled them to stay awake. It shifted them to more of a ketogenic, burn, and so they start burning fat instead of sugar, and their longevity, their stamina increased. And David knew he was onto something, but 2001, 9/11 happened, and
administrations changed and focus changed.
Everything changed, and somebody whispered in David's ear, "You should take this to the mass market." And David followed that, and Lifewave was born in 2004, and as a company to bring the products, home to Americans, now people in 70 countries across the world.
Wow, it's amazing. Yeah. 70 countries around the world, more than 80 clinical studies, some of which are double blind, and 100 patents issued, not pending, but issued around the world.
More than 100.
More than 100. What we know about some products are lucky to get 1 patent.
Most of them are patent pending.
And patent pending, exactly.
And never get issued.
And never get issued as well. Let's talk about the company and the relationship that builds. I mean, we talked about it before in presentations, as much of a relationship, and the marketing of the company is basically one-on-one. People trying the product, experiencing the product, and then telling their friends about it.
Well, what happens is Lifewave is so confident about the product that they give a 90-day guarantee on the product for customers. And for distributors, you get a 30-day guarantee. So they give 100% of the money back if you're not satisfied with the product. So people can try, I like to say try with confidence, because it's guaranteed. And we do that in 7, all over in the world. And so it's very powerful.
And the testimonials, let's talk about that, because there's one thing that's irrefutable, and that is your story, my story. It's my story. It's what I experienced. Talk about some of the testimonies. I know you guys have got hundreds of stories to tell, especially Kai, as long as you've been in it. But just a few of the overwhelming ones that kind of jump to mind.
Well, I'll tell my wife's story.
Okay.
Because this is what got us in the business. She was looking at doing stem cell therapy or injections in a bone-on-bone knee, and did all the research and decided what methodology she's going to use. It was going to be $12,500. No guarantee, but you know, it was the route she wanted to go. And about that time, my good friend Kai here called and said, "Hey, this company I've been with for many years just developed this new stem cell activation patch. End of sale. How fast can I get it?" she says. So she orders the product immediately, and it comes a few days later in a sleeve of 30 patches, one for every day. She takes it out, according to Kai's direction, she puts it on the back of her neck, and 7 days later, her old knee stops her.
Let's get that straight. On the back of her neck,
Back of the
and the
neck,
healing happens in the knee.
in 7 days, her bone-on-bone knee stopped hurting. So the rest, as they say, is history. Because my wife's the type of person, when she finds something she loves or likes, she can't not talk about it. She started sharing it with friends, and pretty soon we had a business. Now, I want to back into that because when David came up with this technology, he had three choices. He could go down the pharmaceutical route, and it would have been rejected by Big Pharma. He could go down the direct sales route, or the on the shelf and try and get it into health food stores, and it would have sat on the shelf. And he chose the people-to-people marketing strategy because this product, it does everything but talk and walk. Okay, so it needs people like us to talk about it and share it with people. So we lots of times will sample people, and some of the folks watching may want to try a sample, and Carl will tell you how to connect after the show here to possibly do that. But as Kai said, it comes with a money back guarantee. You got nothing to lose but your health to gain, and hardly anybody ever asks for their money back. So the proof and the power is in the package.
And as you talked about earlier, the doctors, we're discovering all kinds of ways in which the patches work.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the earlier videos of the product talk about down the midline of the body, correct? But now we're seeing results placing them directly in the area that is under attack, for lack of a better way to say it. So this is evolving as we're discovering more and more ways in which the patches are reacting. And again, it's all natural, non-transdermal. I mean, we're living in a world that is inundated with drugs. That is what we are used to. Here's a pill, here's an injection, here's something to help you. And we're talking about harnessing the natural energy of the body through photolight therapy and helping the body, in some cases, remember what it used to do. And turning back the clock on your body, well, that is the holy grail.
It really is. It really is. Yeah.
So the company itself, let's just get into a bit of the business model of it. I've noticed that when I joined, they have amazing resources. Again, I introduced a distributor today, and she got into the mobile app. She said, "Oh my goodness." I said, "You'll spend a lot of time in here." That's all included. The company is big on equipping people, educating people, because it's all about the science and education. The rest, as you say, it doesn't walk and talk, but it does the rest of the job. So the business model itself, can you talk about that a little bit more?
Well, I would like to. One of the things, a lot of people have been experiencing harder times with the pandemic, or the pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, has happened in the last 2.5 years. And many, many businesses and companies have gone out of business. And in the last 3 years, which is largely during this time, our company is 10 times itself. 10 times. And that's an 18-year-old company.
So its growth every year has doubled.
Yeah, from somewhere around 2.5 million a month to now 25 million a month in volume of business. So, to me, that's the proof is in the pudding. During these hard times, our company's been thriving, and that's because it's been really helping people. And it's been a great way for people to make extra money in their life. They either can kind of just do it simply just to be a customer if they want, of course, or they can share it with a few people, get their product free, which is what a lot of people do by just having 3 or 4 people getting, try it, like it, then they kind of get their product free. Or you can make a nice little extra part-time income, or build a huge income if you really want to build this very serious business. So it has anything, it's flexible to whatever you want.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people who have been hurting that have been taking this on as something because they're passionate about helping and serving other people and sharing something that's based on light therapy to help people and have really transformed the economics of their life.
In the beginning, because direct selling like this, multi-level marketing selling is a long process. It's a long road to get to somewhere. And I think one of you, or maybe both of you, has said at different time in the beginning, you work a lot to get a little.
Mhm.
But as that starts to shift, you end up working very little and get paid a lot.
It's kind of a compounding effect. It's like compound interest, only this is compounding income.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it snowballs and it gets, you know, if you work persistently and consistently over a period of time, it starts building like a snowball does, rolling down a hill, and pretty soon you couldn't stop it if you tried. And it really has the opportunity for a serious supplementary income. And I know nowadays a lot of people are looking for a plan B and supplementary income, and some people are looking for a plan A,
Yeah.
replacement income.
Well, the pandemic has displaced a lot of people. A lot in Canada, a lot of our frontline workers,
Yeah.
educated people who have a long standing in the health industry are displaced
Yeah.
by the simple fact that they couldn't make a healthcare. They were forced to make a healthcare choice, which ended up, if they chose not to agree, ended them out of work. And I think the fact that, you know, a healthcare worker, a displaced frontline worker today would be an ideal person, because we're talking about an industry that's helping people naturally regain their health. Regeneration is a powerful word that I haven't heard used in conjunction with a product. Like, how do you regenerate a body? That's the amazing thing that Lifewave does. So what we're talking about is a product, all natural, non-transdermal, and causing the body to do what it has done. Just a little bit more about the future. What does the future hold for Lifewave? Because right now we have a number of patches that treat different symptoms. Maybe we want to talk on some of that offer some kind of healing, regeneration. So we have Silent Nights. We have the Energy patch. We have the Eon patch. We have Carnosine. We've got X39 and 49. Let's talk about that for a minute, because we talked about the X49. The X49 and 39 work together.
They do. And they both activate different types of stem cells. But I think I just want to focus on X39 just for another minute, because from my perspective, X39 does probably as much or more as all the other patches put together, but some of them do some things better. We get a lot of people who say this helps them sleep, but we have Silent Night that does a little better. We know this patch will increase glutathione, as Kai said, might be 30, 40%, but the glutathione patch will do it to 300%. You know, so we have other patches. So if people have different symptoms they're dealing with, different chronic issues they're dealing with, we may have another patch that in complement with the X39 is going to make the results even better. But this product, you know, covers about 70% of the company's total sales comes from this one product, and most of the people just get amazing results with this one simple product.
You were recently in Thailand, opening up new markets. New markets for Lifewave are opening up all over the world. Tell us about that.
Well, it was really exciting because, you know, what happened actually, this is the story I haven't really talked about on the air before, is there was a doctor that we worked there, it was a chiropractor. He's actually the head of the chiropractic community, the whole association in Thailand. And he got black market. Somebody had sent him kind of like, you know, through the mail patches about 5 or 6 years ago. It wasn't released yet in Thailand. And he was thriving in his practice, quitting patching people until they finally, the government came down and said, oh no, that hasn't been approved here yet. So he's been waiting, you know, for a long time to get the products. And now they've officially got everything worked out and they've launched the product, the X39. And he's just so excited to be able to now thrive in sharing it. He has like 3 different clinics. And so the Thai people were very excited to, you know, they don't get these new products as quickly in those countries, in foreign countries. A lot of stuff happens in the United States and in Europe, and it takes a while to get to Asia before some of that happens. So they're very excited about having access to new technology.
And we have distribution centers all over the world.
We had 14 global distribution centers, and as of a month ago, when Kai and I and some other members were there with us, we launched our 15th global distribution center in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening here in Mexico? There's some exciting news there too, right?
Mexico. Now the products are approved.
This is breaking news. What's happening
The
here?
products are approved here in Mexico, and we have just hired a new country manager. They're in the process of setting up distribution and corporate headquarters in Guadalajara. And so we're going to put Mexico on the map. We're going to start helping people in Mexico live younger, longer, and really enjoy the benefits of our products and our business.
And the product, the information about the product is available in any language in which Lifewave products are distributed, correct?
Yeah, right now, our marketing app that you mentioned, it's a free handheld app that you get, is available in 8 different languages.
But what comes with the product when you decide to become involved in it as a distributor is you get your own website. So you get a website, you get a mobile app, that's all included. And the thing I like to say to people is that when they look at the purchase price of a distributorship is you're only buying product. And most companies want you to invest in something, which then becomes sort of a long-term goal. But this product is all about the value, it's all about the science, and the only thing you're buying is product to become a distributor in here. Yeah.
And there is a really good little website that Gregory actually put together.
Yes, let's talk about it.
www.liveyounger.com. I'll say that again. www.liveyounger.com. And there's 3 really good videos. The first one's a 3-minute video, and it goes into the science of the product. And so if you're listening right after this, you should go over to liveyounger.com, watch a couple little videos, and you can actually see David Schmidt, the inventor. There's an 18-minute, that's the 3rd video, where you can get deep into the product and see exactly how it works and understand from the inventor of it. And it is unique to this company. This product is patented, and you can only get it from Lifewave. That makes it, in terms of the business, it's kind of nice because there's so many other good products out there. I mean, there's essential oils, there's CBD products, there's amazing fruit juices.
But you're doing in competition with other people doing the same thing.
You can buy it on Amazon everywhere. You can get it in Costco. But what makes Lifewave so special is that we have a proprietary product that's patented. It's clinical studies. You can't get it anywhere else, and it's very reasonably priced. It's a cup of coffee a day for people.
Yes, excellent. I know you've got to run. You've got another show to do.
Yeah, we do.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. I know you came into Mexico. There was a beautiful rewards, what would you call it? Not a convention, but just a rewards trip for people that are high achievers in the
We
company.
had 200 of our most successful customer getters, gathered together at the brand new Hilton Maya Riviera Resort in Tulum, and we just spent 4 fabulous days together, and sharing in the success of getting these products out to the world.
That's part of the future of what you can do. As you said, it can be a sideline, it can be a full-blown business, depending on where you want to take it, but sky's the limit, and the products keep performing. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for doing this. I'm going to turn it back to you, Todd, back in the studio.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. We're getting certainly some interesting comments. There's not really.
Yeah, I put them in there, and I'm going to excuse Greg. I know he's going to run to set up here, but any of your comments? Thanks, Gregory. He's a card. He's good. And Rob and his beautiful wife, they're here. It's just a pleasure to be in the company. So put any comments and questions in there. I'll be happy to deal with it, and we'll provide some information on how you can get involved with the Lifewave product.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Carl. And thank you very much to your guests. And I think we're certainly going to have some more conversation to have on this. And I'm going to tell the audience a little more about that right now. So have a great rest of your night, guys. And Carl, we'll talk soon. Take care, man.
Hola from Mexico.
All right, everybody. So, once again, apologies for whatever reason, because I'm not in the usual studio. My computer decided that it was going to tell me that my camera's not working right now. So I'm currently playing radio DJ, which I've always thought is probably a better outlet for me anyhow. Kind of this allows me to try to be far more comedic than usual, because as soon as you take the camera off, my mind really starts going about all the ways that I can, like a radio DJ is supposed to do, I guess, right? I've always thought I've had the face for radio, but that's too much of a lame joke, really, in that conversation. Because honestly, and I am going to talk about the Lifewave thing in just a second here. And please leave some comments right now. How much do you prefer an audio broadcast like this right now, right? Come on. Tell me the truth. I'm sure some of you are liking this right now. Like, hey, you know what? I can I can walk around the room and just turn up the volume. I don't have to be worried about missing anything on screen. But honestly, guys, and I kind of this is one of the impetus and one of the reasons that I started Winnipeg Alternative Media over 9 years ago is I was a big, huge listener and a big fan of AM talk radio. And I've always thought, in fact, I was talking about it with just some people recently, that if independent and alternative media, the online base, could also gravitate or move over to or make use of like AM radio as well too, I think it would be a beautiful thing. I would love to go see today's top independent and alternative media also have a spot like on legitimate talk radio, because I think that's basically its origins. You know, it was always a great bastion, and still it should be. I hopefully is in some regards of free speech, which is talk radio, and I'm sure, like most other bastions of free speech, it's not the same as it once was, but maybe that can change. I think, how many people would go start switching over to AM radio if you knew there was some really cool stuff to listen to there that's very much like the stuff you're listening to and watching on the internet? Would it be more safe over there? I wonder. Pamela says she prefers watching me. Well, you're one of few. I'm just kidding. Anyhow, so okay, this Lifewave thing. Yes, Carl has been involved in it himself. You've got a good voice for a radio, right? I've always thought so as well too. And I got a good taste in music as well too, I promise you. So like, the kinds of things that I'd be putting on in between me just babbling would be, I'm sure they'd be good. They'd be good. A little classic rock, a little country, maybe a little reggae, especially if the mood fits. Folk. I like folk. I can even go into some hip hop. Like that's the thing as well too. You never know what to expect. I can run the gamut on the musical spectrum. But okay, yeah. So Lifewave, as I mentioned on the top of the show, this had nothing to do with Carl specifically. In fact, there is a bit of a larger plan here, though. It more so specifically had to do with the fact that through Carl's involvement, myself and even many others that I know and trust very well, that I've known longer, and I could say that I even trust more than Carl himself, that have been involved in this product, and they all have really, really, really amazing things to say. Okay. And so trust me. And if that wasn't the case, because no, I have not used it myself yet. I don't really feel like I necessarily have the need to right now, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'll learn. But because I haven't used it on myself, there would be no way that I would be even moving forward with this broadcast. Yeah, Alan, I'm not on camera right now. It's just I'm going to end with audio only. Let's see if I can put some other things up on screen there for you guys though. I would not be moving forward with this, but we are moving forward with this for two main reasons. One of them being the fact that people I trust a whole hell of a lot signed off on this. And this seems to be very interesting, natural, holistic, helpful technology. If you can call it technology, I guess. So of course that's awesome. That's great. Well, at least it's certainly something to talk about, right? It's certainly something to have a conversation about. There we go. Let's put that up for a little bit. And we do have more of these vehicle magnets, actually. We still have, I think, is it 2 more? Because I didn't give one away last week. The person who won the contest last week was in Ontario and didn't want to pay the shipping for the magnet, so she's just getting bumper sticker. So yeah, we got 2 more vehicle magnets of the kind that you're seeing on screen right now to give away, and that will be happening, I guess. Maybe I'll try to give them away both this week, tomorrow and Thursday. Anyhow, so yeah, there's the 2 points right there. Very trusted people. No, sorry. There's another one. That would be Lifewave has offered to possibly sponsor WHAM. It's not a done deal yet. It's just a conversation. But they have offered to, especially if we like their product, we like the reaction to their, to what our audience feels about their product as well too. And everything seems like, we can trust it and it makes sense for us to be involved. Then they would be the first actual sponsor of Winnipeg Alternative Media, which could very much save this platform in a lot of ways and certainly allow us to continue to not just exist, but hopefully grow without worrying about, without any major concern. as we have done our best in the last just handful of months to pour tons and tons and tons of time, money, and energy into the platform. And as it stands right now, we aren't really getting anything too positive back necessarily, especially in the ways of financing. You know, and I don't want to get into details about that, but if you want to, if anybody out there is thinking that, because we put out consistent content and, and do our best to, look and sound as best as possible at the best of times. I know tonight's audio didn't sound all that great, and me and Carl will have to try to work on that and see if we can get them set up with something a little bit better and figure that one out. But if anybody thinks that because of our efforts that we're, doing well in any financial way at all, I know you'd be very wrong. In fact, the exact opposite. And again, I'm not going to go into details there, but the exact opposite, which means, of course, there's all kinds of things that we can't, that we're going to have a tough time doing. So we take a look around for what options seem to make sense. Right now, I'd say the conversation that we've been having with Lifewave and the conversation that we've been having with people that are also involved with the Lifewave product have been positive enough for us to consider moving forward and hoping that possibly this can be a bit of a solution and can hope to sort of ease things up for us right now, so we can take so without any stress, any other further concerns, we can take a look at, of course, doing everything we can to focus on what we're supposed to be focusing on, just putting out far better content and trying to get in touch with really, really, really interesting people for great interviews and better, even specifically say, maybe if Carl had a better audio setup, which of course we're going to make sure that he can get right away. Don't know if he knows all the best places to go shopping for that kind of stuff in Mexico, but we'll figure it out. A better audio setup, then we need to figure these things out. We're a diverse platform, and we want to stay that way, where we have lots of different people. We want lots of different people, out there handling different stories, different issues, and offering their own kind of flavor in doing so. And so because of that, there's a lot of different problems that go along with that. Not all financial constraints, but that's just simply the way it goes. We're trying to build as a multi sort of like faceted platform here, not just not just the same anything really. We want things to be very, very, very multi-dimensional with what we can offer, and that takes a little bit extra, and so because of that, we will be taking a look at these options as best as possible. And again, I want to remind people that taking a look at how interesting this technology might really be. A lot of what you just heard spoken about right there are the kinds of conversations that I think a lot of us have been very intrigued by for quite some time now. So, I think it's an interesting conversation just in its own right. And of course, if it ends up being that conversation and the product behind that conversation actually assists Winnipeg Alternative Media in a very positive, natural, fashion, then it's a win-win all around. And that's what we're taking a shot at here. So there we go. I guess I could go on about some other things a little bit more here. I know we've only been broadcasting for about 45 odd minutes. We're getting close to the top of the hour though. I'll read a few comments here. So somebody's saying everything costs money, so let's support. Yes, of course. Thank you, Debbie. Yeah, that's Alan says Wham News #1. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, you know, even though someone in the room with me here might have been making a joke about playing the old little tiny violin right there, like, oh, you want some cheese with that wine? Was, I think, the comment I was about to hear when I finished this broadcast. That's not, of course, what was going on. We're not trying to sound all sad and down and try to play on anyone's heartstrings because the times are tough at Wham. No, not at all. I mean, do I want to be honest with everybody and say, like, yeah, that's, this is where things are? Yes, of course. But it's not like, don't mean to sound all kind of down on anything or depressed about anything. No, trust me. We're all very, 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 very much engaged, positive, and very happy with everything to do with what Winnipeg Alternative Media is right now and where we're going. But yeah, we badly, regardless of that, we do need some assistance with the financial constraints. That's just a fact. That's it. Basically, it's very simple as, like, not anybody really, but no pocketing of any money individually. It's the very first big thing to tackle is to cover just our basically monthly expenses for the streaming straight to the website, because we always want to keep that going as a backup plan, sort of like online prepping in case in case Facebook all of a sudden takes us down or whatever. And then, of course, the use of our streaming platforms, the paying for the website, and and continue to try to go put merch out there and other things as well too. These things, yeah, it's just the way it goes. So trust me, there is no wailing and moaning about our situation right now. We're all very, very happy with the way things are. We just need to shake a couple hands with some really trusted people and get over that very first time. We get our monthly expenses basically taken care of, so that it's not coming out of all of the volunteers' own pockets. And woof, there we go. It's pretty much, then things get a trillion times easier. Boom, right there. That's it. And if Lifewave can help take care of that just single-handedly, well, somebody get me the champagne bottle and I'll pop the cork. Let's just say that. We're going to have a lot more coming up this week, everybody. I talked to Heather Prozac today, the radio DJ. Funny enough, I guess I should bring up radio DJs as I'm kind of being one right now. That was a DJ here in Winnipeg for a while and has been in Calgary for the last 3 or 4 years, and then lost her job because of going to Ottawa. And now she's starting this really cool platform called Knowledge Media. We had a great conversation today on the phone. Really great person to talk to. I can't wait to finally have her on for an interview, but it's going to be maybe a couple weeks down the road, as she's actually, of course, like everybody that we try to get on for an interview these days. In fact, I made a couple jokes about that with Heather. She's going through a legal battle right now because of what happened with her in the radio station. So, which is good. I said, that's awesome. Do it. Hit them back however you can. So we're going to try to have Heather. We're going to have Heather on as soon as she can come on and tell the full story about her in the radio station in Calgary. And then, of course, talk about the launching of Knowledge Media. You can go find that as well too. We should post some links for that. Maybe even go throw that up on all of our social, just so people can go find it. Her first interview with Leighton Gray, the lawyer that actually myself and others here from Manitoba had, after getting arrested, that he was the initial one. Leighton Gray was for the tickets, I think, maybe. I'm not sure. But Leighton Gray was our initial lawyer given to us through the Fight the Fines with Rebel Media. Great interview that people should check out. We will go post that sooner or later. So going to have her on in the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow will be Joseph Bourgault. That's going to be awesome. We'll be talking about everything that he's been doing there, going around Alberta and Saskatchewan with Theo Fleury, mostly Alberta lately, which is awesome. Theo, somebody else that we hope to have on soon as well too. Let's see. And then on Thursday, we're still talking. We're trying to buckle down a time to have Roman Baber on, because I do want to still do a one-on-one with him. We haven't got anything official just yet, but we will hopefully have Roman on in the very near future as well too. I wanted him to come on Thursday, but it doesn't look like our broadcast time works for his schedule. So yeah, we might have to do just kind of a random one-off interview with him and not just kind of have him on a scheduled broadcast. But we'll get that nailed down really soon. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Doesn't matter if I am. So yeah, there's lots of interviews coming up. I hope everybody's had a chance to go see some of the new content up on Rumble and Wham.live. That were like not really done as lives. Well, one of them was, but then we fixed it. So yeah, the Elmer Penner interview that Nick Bonvie did from a few days ago. He couldn't really, again, he had legal issues, so he couldn't really discuss the full story about what happened to him in Calgary, but he touched on it, and then they had, another still really good conversation, so go check that out. And then my quick little interview with Wayne Peters of What's Up Canada and Ethics Over Fear from out in Winkler on Saturday, which because of other technical issues that we've been experiencing over the last few days, which is just always so much fun. Will Wham News be in Ottawa for the bikers protest? That's the only other random news item or other news item that I could mention here tonight because of that comment. We're hearing lots of talk about the fact that the bikers and stuff like that are not going to be allowed into like the downtown area or something. I've seen a lot of chatter about that. They're not protesting. It's a bike rally. We'll see what happens. That's supposed to be this weekend, right? Yeah, no, we're not going to be there. I might know of a couple people that'll be in the area, so I could try to get some, some good, solid, possibly even live footage or something off some people. Oh, thank you very much, Debbie. But yeah, no, we'll be watching this weekend very closely, and we'll present and we'll broadcast, whatever we can when we can, but we'll be watching it all very closely, of course. Anyhow. See, before the comment about the bikers there, what was I getting at? Oh no. Maybe I should just end on the bikers thing this weekend. Oh, that's what the other bits of content on wham.live. Yeah, the interview with Wayne Peters, where again a couple technical issues screwed up a few things, but then we edited it, took down the live one because just wasn't right. And so now my conversation with Wayne Peters, you can go find that up. We did post that now and shared that one around, so that's up on wham.live. Great little chat, and we were very happy to learn that Wayne Peters might be sticking around in Manitoba for the next week or so, in which case I will be looking to schedule a far better, more in-depth interview with him. I would love to be able to sit down with Wayne and film a good solid 45-minute conversation with him, which is what I'm really hoping to do. So if Wayne does end up sticking around the province for the next week or so, then I'm going to hope to have that scheduled right away and tell everybody about that really soon. Okay, everybody, that's it. We're a little bit past the top of the hour. And I'm going to go watch Shadow Davis now. So... And a big heads up and a big kudos to Shadow. I want to say this right before I go. I'm going to end on this. To Shadow and to Mike Voyajakis. I know that we here at WHAM, we promoted the event that happened at Calvary Temple over the weekend, but I think Shadow helped out a little more than just promoting and stuff like that, put in that extra effort, and the Voyajakis, Mike Voyajakis and Voyage Funeral Homes as well too. Just a really incredible effort. I was really happy to hear that a lot of people did actually go there to grieve, to as a catharsis, right? And I think that's great. It wasn't just a lot of, it wasn't just a lot of people who who follow Shadow and Wham or whatever, just kind of going there and hanging out, that it really was a very cathartic, very helpful event to a good crowd of people, which is wonderful to hear. So I want to say a big, huge thank you and a big, huge kudos to everybody who was involved in that event, Shadow and Mike and many others, and who allowed a crowd of people to go and have, hopefully a really helpful moment, a helpful time, where for whatever happened to them and their families or their loved ones over the last 2 years, losing someone maybe in a hospital where you could barely ever go see them, as an example kind of situation. If any of those kinds of individuals that experience that kind of thing got to be there and on Saturday and use the event as a way to try to get through any of that, then that's really good. Really, really good. And so a huge thanks to everybody involved in that. And all right, everybody, I'll be back tomorrow night. Again, we'll have Joseph Borgo with us. Greatly looking forward to it. Of course, we'll make sure that we have the camera fixed, obviously. And yeah, go to wham.live. Go check out all the new content. Please subscribe to the newsletter. And check us out on Rumble, of course, as well, too. And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WPG Alt Media. And please, of course, anybody that can help with any kind of donation, please go check out the store as well, too. Those mandate freedom and fringe minority sweaters are awesome. I'm telling you, go check out the store at wham.live. Lots more coming up this week, everybody. You don't want to miss it. Have a great rest of your Monday night, everybody. Tommy Dougal signing off for Winnipeg Alternative Media. This is and always will be your Prairie Truth Network.